ago, you made the headlines for claiming that Malawi is going through what it's going through now because of something that the first president of this country did, Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Mentorship. It was about mentorship. You know, people follow what the leaders do, and if the leader is doing the wrong things, we will do the wrong things.
What wrong thing did Kamuzu do?
You know, there's something which you have to understand in our society. That is actually marriage is paramount. And this explains why, for example, Peter Mutharika, as soon as he became a president, he got married immediately. You know, if you are going to build a nation, you have to put priorities which people can emulate. And one of them is marriage. If you marry, you are showing responsibility both to your home, but also you're creating relationships with other people who are at the other side of your marriage.
Okay.
If you don't do that, you're actually going to demean some of the principles which happen, and therefore people will look at their life, not in a broader way, but on a self-centered manner, which I think Kamuzu did because he created a lot of fear in our lives, but also he did not value what we value most in life, and that's marriage. And to me, that was sad, and that's why I wanted it to come out.
I still can't see what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you cannot understand.
It's wrong that Kamuzu didn't marry, is that what you're saying?
In terms of developing a nationhood, yes. Because you see, if Kamuzu
what you're saying is a president must always be a married person?
He has to be a role model for the society, for it to function.
And what you're saying is only a married person is the right role model for the society?
It seems like it, because for society to grow, it needs to put values. And
so someone who is single, someone who is not married or who has never married before, cannot present a good image? It
will be difficult, because what will happen is this. If you marry, you create relationships which can actually help you to move forward. So the side of your wife has got people there, relations, who will be part of you. If you don't have that, and yet you want to make decisions, you don't have people who can counterbalance or countercheck what you're doing. And therefore, this could explain why Kamuzu, for example, was very harsh. Because he didn't understand the implication of his behavior towards other people. That's why he would actually put people in jail without somebody saying, no, this is wrong. Because there was no one who would actually help him to actually go beyond in terms of relationships. So I'm saying at his age, chances are, we didn't know who his brothers were. We know whatever he was, but we didn't even know who went to school with him. So we didn't really have people who actually had mentored Kamuzu at that particular point. Had he married, there was a high chance that maybe some of the problems were facing.
The crime that Kamuzu committed was not marrying.
And he committed many crimes because of that, yes.
And we're paying because our president didn't marry.
Yes, because we have mentored. And now fear, worry, concerns, they're actually engraved in us. And had he gotten married, there's a very high chance that we would not.
Where did you get this notion that the whole country can be punished because its president didn't marry? Where are you getting this from?
Don't forget that I'm coming from a religious background, I told you.
So what does religion say? Religion doesn't necessarily force people or compel people to marry for them to lead.
It depends on exactly how you understand the concept which are in the Bible in terms of leadership, which is secular. We're talking of secular leadership. We're not talking of spiritual leadership here. In spiritual leadership, there are principles which you deal with, which actually are in tandem with what happens within your own life. In secular leadership, there is a bigger picture because not everybody believes in your own faith. Not everybody you're leading has got the same concepts as you. So you look at a bigger picture, which in secular nature will make you perform at the best level towards everything else. But if you miss that, then people go astray. You know, Malawi is failing now to develop in terms of other rational thinking because of fear. And why do you think that fear came about? Fear came about because Kamuzu was very harsh. He was locked up educated people. He didn't want rational people who would actually argue with him. Whenever he said, I don't want to see you, then people would actually get into trouble.
Professor Chisi, which year did Hastings Kamuzu Banda die?
I think 1997.
What you're saying is from 1997 up to now, 2018, we are failing to make progress as a country. We are facing all these problems that we're facing because of a man who died in 1997.
It's mentorship. You know, if I am afraid, my children will be afraid. If I get to my kids, I tell them, politics is bad, politics is expensive.
This country has got development strategies. It's got presidents, it's got ministers, it's got members of parliament, it's got parastatals, it's got private companies to run and manage the economy. And we overlook all that and we go and pick out a man who died in 1997 and pin all the blame on him?
Yes, why? Because the education systems, which would have helped people to get to that level, have never matured. You see, the Kamuzu left primary secondary school the same way as we're having. University Kamuzu graduated was one. It took a long time before another university came. The people who were actually admiring Kamuzu did not think beyond what Kamuzu was doing. And most of us who are victims of that are actually now in leadership position. And because we looked at the leadership of Kamuzu through Bakiri, whatever it is, who have not managed to move forward. You have to understand this. Because if you do not appreciate that a generation issue is not only you and me, it's actually the offsprings which come under our mentorship, then we're going to be in problems. Because Malawi, even of today, if we do not transform in terms of what we think politically and where we're going, I tell you, it will never change, because children who are born. Now, you find that a lot of kids are extreme. You know, they have no respect, they shout, they do. Because Bakiri came and said, we have to be democratic and let's be loose. He didn't even put a mechanism in place to change certain things. So human nature is transformational, but it's also a thing which takes time.
Let's look at it from another angle.
Please.
Since Kamuzu died, we have had presidents who were married. First Bakiri Muluzi, and then Bingu wa Mutharika, and then Joyce Banda, and then Peter Mutharika. All these presidents have been married. The curse still hasn't been lifted on Malawi?
You have to appreciate that them as leaders, the way they got married. I'll just give an example. Bakiri Muluzi got married, but in the middle of his marriage things happened, which were not even right. Okay? These things are real.
What things?
Bakiri, I thought he divorced his first wife because of issues which happened there. If we all know about this, he married another wife, Shanil, but he came in with another woman and things like that. If you can have people who work with you, do things to you out of respect, then there's issues. I'm saying, you can give these examples how much as you want, but we have actually looked at issues in isolation, rather than building a picture. What I want is Malawians to look at a holistic thing, rather than individuals. There are issues which have happened in this country, which are to do with leadership, mentorship, and leadership, showing people the right path.
We have had the chance to get mentored by other people.
The people who put their mentored have been mentored themselves by the leadership of Kamuzu. I told you already, it's the same tree.
What will it take to break this curse, as you put it?
You choose Umodzi Party. Because you choose Umodzi Party, you are choosing a totally new generation, different people with a different looking. And that's the way you should do it. If you do not choose Umodzi Party, forget, it will carry on. I mean, this is the truth, and I'm saying here, to be quoted on this. I'm not campaigning. I'm telling you the truth. Because we need unity. Who was the first people? Who was the first president to chase people because of tribal? Kamuzu chased Northerners. And now you're talking of tribalism, on which Bakiri was part and parcel of. And you're saying we're tribalistic, but the first person to chase people because of their tradition was Kamuzu. You, Professor Chisi, yes, are in no way different from the other presidents that we have had, because you are a married man and you have been in Malawi all this while. And I don't see how you set yourself apart from Bingu, Joyce, Bakiri, Peter. I don't see how you set yourself apart. I talk about it. They don't talk. If they were also talking about this, would be fine. How will this case be broken by putting you in power? I have talked about it. If I do exactly the same behavior, it's on record. Chisi, you said this. Look what you're doing even worse than others. So you know, I am being putting things on record so that as the monitoring and evaluation to make sure that Malawi does not go astray. That's what I've been doing here. If you go through all your archives, you're going to see that I've said a lot of things, some of which people who are in politics will be very scared, because I'm not giving myself any room of creating a mistake.